Hello and welcome, Inspired Podcast community. This is your new episode. My name is Caroline, and my today's guest is Harry Sardinas. And I'm so happy you are here and said yes to our interview. How are you today?
I'm fantastic, and thank you so much, Caroline, for the invitation. You're very powerful. I admire you so much. So I'm glad to be here.
Oh, thank you, because you invited me first and we had our interview last week. And it's so nice. I want to introduce you to our audience, of course. So, you have empowered over 10,000 people in 5 countries on worldwide stages to speak confidently and charismatically. And you have reached over 1 million people at online events. You have been invited in 20 other countries to speak about the power of speaking to grow your business. Please tell us everything about speaking and how was your way from I guess non-speaking to become a speaker.
Yeah, like I always say thank you so much. I always share with the word that one of the fastest tools that we have to grow our business is from the stage. Why? Because when we are speaking from the stage, or even now that we're speaking with the podcast, right? Is the every time that you're speaking, you are selling. You're either selling a product or you're selling an idea. Now, the process is that when you're selling one to many rather than one to one, you have more leverage, so you can reach more people. Now, it's completely different dynamics selling one to one or one to many, right? Some principles are the same, but other principles change because at the end of the day you need to manage to persuade the whole audience. So we need to use a lot of experiential learning as a learning techniques. But the huge benefit that you have when you're selling, one of the most important elements of sales, probably the most important, is authority. The more authority, the more credibility you have, the more easy you can sell your products and the more you can charge for your services. So when you are on a stage, right, and you are in front of 200 people, 2,000 people, right, the fact that you are actually selling to all these 2,000 people, for example, but on top of that, there is a credibility factor already built into that you don't have it in the one-to-one. When you're selling in the one-to-one, you need to speak about your credibility. You need to say, oh, this is my credibility. I wrote so many books. I have done this. And you need to use this narrative to build your credibility when you're selling one-to-one. Without that credibility, not even one-to-one, you can sell the product uh, easier, right? However, when you're speaking on a stage, you don't need to talk too much about the credibility. It's already built in the proper already seeing you that you are an authority. Otherwise, what are you doing speaking in front of 200 people, 2,000 people, right? So
Yes.
the whole process and the dynamic change because when you're speaking on the stage and you're selling and you have this credibility factor, um, you don't need to go after the client comes to you, right? The same way on a book publishing company, it's the same principle, right? When you publish a book, right, and then you distribute to everybody in the audience, 2,000 people, the when people have that book and they spend with you like a week reading this book, so it's like
Mhm.
your prospect spending a week with you, right? So after
Yes.
they close the book, guess what they're gonna say? Oh, I want to work with you, right? So
Yes.
it's the same dynamic because the credibility factor is already there. Is already is said in the word author authority, right? So if you're an author already, the authority and the credibility part of it is already because you wrote that book. So it's the same dynamic with them in the public speaking. Even if you have been following in social media, that also have your credibility. We have over a quarter of million followers around all the social media. So at the end of the day, building your brand is what we call it credibility on top of credibility on top of credibility. So if you publish your book, if you speak on the stage, if you do podcasts and you create a big following in social media, that's gonna be your brand and it's gonna change the dynamic, right? So rather that you go after the customer comes to you.
Yeah, I see what you mean. It's like you turn the magnetism in the other way around. And I love how you use the word credibility, of course, also authority, because I heard it before. from, and I'm sure you know this guy, Jeffrey Gitomer, the king of sales, the little red book
Yeah.
of selling. And he said he's offering like a webinar to become an author, and he talks also about the relation, or the relation between authority and being an author. And you emphasized it now. I'm so happy about this, because I think for the first time I understood it. And you talked about credibility. So thank you. Sometimes we have to hear it repetitively, right, to understand. And credibility, what would you say is the difference between credibility and trust?
Yeah, I think that the way that the trust that we have with the marketplace is built. What it means is that's what it calls a brand. Brand is the addition of the credibility plus the trust of the marketplace, right? So when you do these two things parallel, this is how you build your brand. And because you build your brand, you can charge more for your services. You can reach more people, right? Like for example, um, the somebody said, okay, a Nike shoe. Why we pay 150 for a Nike shoe if we go to Primark and we can buy a same trainer for 15 pounds? Why we pay 1,000 pounds for an iPhone when we can find another phone for 200 pounds? Why we pay X amount of money for a Rolls Royce where we can find a German car very good and very cheap, right? So why we pay 10, 20 times, sometimes more than that for the same product? Sometimes it's not 20 times better. And everybody will say, oh, Harry, it's because of the brand. Yeah, but what is the brand? The brand is the trust plus the credibility. So the trust is the value that the company has, and the mission and the value that the company stand for. But this is an ongoing process, because this trust is built. It's built with the consistency, how you deliver your product, how truthful you are to your clients, right? So on the other hand, you do have to deliver a good product, right? Otherwise, you're not going to have repeating clients, and you have to stick to your values and to your mission and to your ideas for the marketplace. And this is how you build trust. Yeah. However, the credibility and the authority is a separate path. It's a separate vertical, because this one you build it by using these mechanisms, by writing books, by speaking on a stage worldwide. We have spoke already in, like you say, Singapore, Dubai, Mexico, Peru, United Kingdom several times. More than 10,000 people we have reached in physical stages, and over 1 million online. So this is, and we do a lot of things that actually enhance our credibility. With It's something that we do in a daily basis, right? And goes parallel with the truth. Now, once you build that brand, once you bring your personal brand, there is a concept that before it didn't actually exist so strength. I have a client that owns over 300 supermarket in Turkey, right? And yes, in the 80s, in the 90s, you could hide behind the company. Nobody knew who's the CEO. And you have a huge corporate brand, like the brand of your supermarket, and you build that corporate brand, and that's the end of it, and you will be successful. In today's marketplace, the personal brand is even more important than the corporate brand. Because people need to know who is the person behind the product first. What are the values of this person? What it represents before even buy the product. So as an entrepreneurs, we need to work unstoppable to build our brand, to build our personal brand, because um, this is what is gonna. The higher we have our personal brand, it will increase automatically the corporate brand of our product and service. So this is and the fastest and more powerful way to enhance your personal brand is by publish a book that about your business, how to book that enhance your personal brand. We specialize in that. We definitely can help you guys with that. But also start to speak more on stage, start to speak more on podcasts, start to appear in places like that that position yourself as an authority in the marketplace. That is definitely we happy with your business to grow faster.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing. This is so valuable, this information. And what I learned was you said something about build first your personal brand or your personality to become more visible, and then the corporate brand or the brand you have, your product will increase as well, or automatically. You said this.
Yeah,
This is important
automatically.
because many people don't know how to start or what to start with. And I think it helps what you said about the book as well. So, my next question is, what inspired you to become an entrepreneur, if I can say this, and not to work as an employee, for example?
Well, the truth is, I become an entrepreneur by accident, and I think that most of the entrepreneurs will become by accident. So I was no good employee, honestly. Every time that that I want to do something, I always thought that I can be done better. That why we need to do this like this. So every time that I was an employee, I worked only for 4 years in London. The last 17 years, I own my own businesses, but the only 4 years that I work in London and 5 that I work in Spain, I always have these. Actually, I move out from Spain here to United Kingdom exactly because of this, because I was uncomfortable in my job, right? And then I come to London and find another job and also uncomfortable. So the problem was not the country, the problem was me, right? So I think that the entrepreneur always, you have the DNA, you always have it within you. We just look, you just waiting for the opportunity, or what is the chance, and then as soon as you see an opportunity that you can start the business. So while I was working here in London, I built parallel my property portfolio. We managed to sell over 5 million in that business, and after that we have businesses in I have an English school. I have an operation helping people career advice. I didn't even open a restaurant here in London. We had also, and now we have a coaching business. The company is speakers and leaders and brand for speakers. Like we specialize in that, in helping entrepreneurs to enhance the personal brand, so they can increase automatically the corporate brand, and they can charge more for the products, and they can reach bigger audience. Yeah, by accident, basically I decided to, I'm gonna do this. And when I'm gonna do this property thing, I rented a house, and then I rented cheaper, and we rented more expensive, always making a profit, and there we go. We were in business, and now we need to learn everything that comes
Oh,
with
I
it.
love that so much what you said. Thank you so much. And of course, I have another question. I have to watch the replay because there were so many nuggets in there already. But of course, I want to know who inspires you. Do you have coaches and mentors for yourself? And who was the best coach you ever had?
Wow, that's a great question. Who inspired me? And honestly, there was a book that I read from Roy Kiyosaki. Yeah, Rich Dad Poor Dad, right?
Yes.
And when I read that book, is reflected what was in my family, right? There is no entrepreneurs in my family. My families are my dad, my mom, they're teachers, right? So there were no entrepreneurial background in my family. So everything that you hear in my family is, um, you need to go to university, you need to study hard so you can have a good job, right? And I actually have a degree in chemical engineering. Yeah, even I was thinking to go, when I was thinking to go either Germany or UK after I left Spain, because I'm a chemical engineer, and in Germany there's a huge industry. Yeah, I just
Mhm.
I joined some German lessons, and was very difficult for me. Didn't last 2 weeks. So I decided, well, I had to go to UK. Probably English I can learn this fast. But at the end of the day, I wanted to be an entrepreneur was already within me, and there was no so there in my environment there was nothing that was leading me to that direction. When I write that book, I realized that what that there are different views between the entrepreneurs and the other family. So that book goes me inspired. Later on, even my courses as Speaker Sardinas has been listed next to the Robert Kiyosaki course. Who's gonna thought that the other ones, other coaches than I received training from Tony Robbins, from Blessing. I had to say that if I had to mention all the coaches that had trained me during the years, um, the list would be so long. To give you an idea, we have invested over $1 million in coaching. So we can tell you, guarantee that the best coaches in this planet has training us. Our marketing coach has sold over 200 million online. We have been trained for Anthony Robbins several times. We have been trained for receiving training from Roy Kiyosaki, for Blessing, from Success Resources. All the speakers from Success Resources. We also have the opportunity to speak in the headquarters in Singapore. Success Resources, the biggest event company in the world. The founder Richard Tan, they do an amazing job all over the world. They have 10 million attendees per year. So imagine the big operation. They represent the biggest speakers on the planet. Yeah. So yeah, and I think that to sum up the question, right? Even for example here, Richard Branson, they have a group of mentors around him and coaches to dissipate, like people said, the chaos that he said every day, right? So the secret to success, when if you is having the right coach and the right mentor, and that's the end of it. We and the simple is a simple basic mechanism. Yeah, every time that you see an athlete win a gold medal, the first thing that they say is thanks to my coach, thanks to my mentor, right? um, to achieve a goal, any goal that you want, to be successful in entrepreneur, to be successful in life, to be successful in weight loss, um, the process of trial and error is a process that is expensive, and sometimes you cannot guarantee the result because you don't know. Might take you the whole life, the trial and error process, and it's expensive. However, if you find a person that already have achieved the goal that you want to achieve, and you work with this person as a mentor, your path, it will reduce dramatically, will be shorter, and because you already will have a blueprint, right? And it's important to arrive to the end goal fast, right? Because we only have one life, and we want to achieve as much goal as possible. So coaching and mentoring is that's why we also are in the space. We know the power of this, and I'm doing my podcast on Unstoppable. We are interviewing multimillionaires all over the world. We are projected to interview 5,000 millionaires in the next 5 years. And so far, we interviewed over 50, 60 up to today, and every single person is sharing the same view I was sharing with you. They always said that as soon as they have a chance, they find a mentor and a coach, even if they have been successful in other business. We have interviewed people that have been successful in other business, they have exits for multi-million pounds, and now they want to start a property business, and the first thing that they have done is to hire a mentor. And you say, what, these people know already about business, they already exit for multi-million, do they need a mentor to do this new business? And that's the first thing that they do. They hire a mentor, because if I go to property and I don't, yeah, I know the mechanics of business, but if I have a mentor in property specialized, that will help me to get there faster. So they do
Wow.
very well.
Thank you so much. This shows us again that it's important to have someone at your side to help you. A mentor saves you time, and you don't have to do the same errors or other errors or mistakes, whatever. So thank you so much for sharing. I agree totally. And also We study, or most of the successful people study Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, and there's
Yeah,
the
exactly.
mastermind principle as well. So of course I have another question for you. It is, how do you inspire other people?
That's a great question because there is a big difference between inspiring and motivation. A lot of people, I train a lot of motivational speakers, right? And everyone is always telling me, Harry, it's a huge demand for motivational speakers. Of course, a huge demand for motivational speakers because everybody is demotivated at work. So obviously, everybody wants a motivational speaker, right? Now, there is a big difference between a motivational speaker and an inspired speaker, right? Because when you do a motivational speech, the motivation goes up and goes down, right? So, however, if you do an inspiring speech, the dynamic is different because the caterpillar transform into a butterfly. It cannot go back from butterfly to caterpillar, right? So when you're doing your speeches for you to create that credibility, that authority, you need to touch, move, and inspire the audience. You need to create that transformation from caterpillar to butterfly when you are addressing the audience. So the public, they are not only inspired, you can actually craft your speech with techniques that we teach all over the world, where you can actually do an inspiring speech for the audience, and that the person will never forget about you. Here the other day, I was in the metro and one guy came to me and said, Harry, are you Harry Sardinas? Harry, and Pedro, I was in this event, Les Brown, you changed my life. Or what you say, look, these are my children, I'm making so much money, I opened this business, thank you so much, can we take a picture? And I was thinking, how come he remember what I say that I don't even remember myself? When was this talk?
Yeah.
I was so vague, it was 2018, I don't remember the month, but he remembered clearly how I look like, what I said that day, and he uses to transform his life, right? So this is the difference between a motivational speech and an inspiring speech. When you create an inspiring speech, people will never forget what you say. They will apply and they actually will make a huge transformation in their life.
I love what you said about the caterpillar, that the butterfly can never go back to the state of caterpillar. This is so true. And I never thought about it that way. So I
It's a
learned something.
transformational process. It's
Mhm.
not motivational, it's a transformational process. So when you create transformation in the audience, when you create transformation in the human beings, when you make a huge difference for them.
So I feel inspired now, and I'm
Thank
transformed by
you.
this podcast interview. Thank you so much. Of course, I have another question for you. Do you set goals? We talked about goals. Do you set goals for yourself or intentions? And what is one of your next goals?
Oh, tell me about it. The actually the I'm doing right now something amazing, right? In terms of goal setting. Last month, right? Last 33 days, or I posted my Facebook couple of days. So now it's like 35 days. I am doing my weight loss, and I lost 12.3 kilos in 33 days. And now for the other 33 days, the goal is to lose 11 kilos more, right? I'm doing this as an example of goal setting. Yeah, my girlfriend was asking me, let's face it, I love to eat, right? And but then I was overweight for how tall I am, right? I was very aware of that. Is part of my personality, be a little bit chubby, right? But I said, okay, I'm gonna take a challenge, yes, to make a point, right?
Mhm.
To make a point that when you set a goal and you focus into this, you can actually do anything you want, from become a multimillionaire, from become a billionaire, to to make a big improvement in your health, right? So I had to say that yeah, after last month, after I lost the whole 12.3 kilos, I went to a doctor to get a blood test. Everything is fine. No diabetes, no cholesterol, nothing. Everything is ticking the box, right? So I could stop. Yeah, but because I want to make a point for the people out there to inspire them, right? That that everything they want to achieve in the life is possible. Now you have to be, when you clear a goal, right? You need to focus on it. You have to be serious. You have to be committed, and you cannot give up, right? You put it on space. That's why I publish in Facebook. Is a way to make it publicly what I'm doing, right? That these are the goals. So people can have a source of inspiration, yeah. And then, well, the benefit for me, yeah, I would be more skinny. I do have a lot of high percentage of fat that I should have in the body, so I'm working on that. And actually, the fat was disappearing. The muscles, they're that is still there, just reducing a little bit. But what is moving really really fast is the losing fat. However, I'm working with mentors, with coaches like that, because we are on a space. We have so many people that when I say, "Look, I'm gonna do this thing," oh, they start to call me, "Harry, this is what you have to do. This is what I have to do." So I have people that call me every 3 weeks. How you doing? Tell me the scale. What are you eating? What is this? Just in case you know that I'm missing
Mhm.
something. I have
Mhm.
doctors working with me, checking on my allergies. Another mentor, a doctor, checking that if it's some food that I'm taking, I'm allergic, and that's why maybe it's creating toxin in the liver. Then I have someone that is expert in liver, a mentor in liver, only in liver detox, only that specifically, that is giving me some ideas what I need to be eating these days to detox my liver. So I have a doctor from one side with the allergy, making sure that everything I eat, my body doesn't react. Then I have a liver expert. Then I have one of the champions of bodybuilder fat in the world also talking communication with me, asking me the same thing. Harry, how you doing? You losing the fat? Make sure you do this, don't do this, blah blah. So I have like 3 or 4 people, 3 or 4 mentors around that, because I know that if I'm setting that goal and I want to achieve the result fast, I know that I will need coaches and mentors. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. That's why the result is so good and so fast.
Oh, I love that because when people think about a coach or mentor, they don't even have one person, and you have 3 to 4 for one goal.
Yeah,
So you can have several goals and several mentors as well.
that's
Thank
why
you
it's
so
working
much
really fast. Yeah,
for sharing. I have
because it
one
looks
last.
it sounds easy, Caroline. Oh, weight loss, eat less and exercise more.
Mm,
No way, it's not as
mm,
easy as that. Guarantees not like that. You do need doctors around you. You need mentors around you in different verticals in
mm,
order to achieve the result fast without affecting your health, right? Because there's no the point. Even some people are telling me, even my family, Harry, how come 12.3 kilos in almost a month? You losing really fast. Is that healthy? So I had to tell, look, I have a mentor that is a doctor. I have another mentor, specialized in nutritionist, doctor, bodybuilder champions that doesn't have percentage fat at all. Like they're like athletes, yeah. So I have people around me that keep an eye on what I'm doing, and that's why the goals are getting good and fast.
Wow, I love that so much. This is inspiring for me to have several mentors for one goal, and then you can have other goals as well at the same time.
Exactly.
Wow, thank you so much. I have one last question for you, and this is when people reach out to you after listening to this podcast episode, do you have special offers or services for the Inspired Podcast community?
Yeah, we do our signature workshop, Speakers and Leaders. The website is www.speakersandleaders.co.uk. It's gonna take place in October this year. We do it once a year in United Kingdom. So it's our signature workshop. We do it all over the world, and it's a workshop where We train you how to inspire the audience, how to touch, move, and inspire the audience. And we certify you as a keynote speaker. But what we discussed today is not only a keynote speaker, it's a transformational keynote speaker. So once people, it's a 2 days workshop from 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. And when we have people actually from Denmark join us, they flying the workshop. A lot of people from Europe fly to attend this workshop here in London that we do. And is a workshop that will prepare you, because of if tomorrow you have an opportunity to speak in front of 200 or 2,000 people, you have to be prepared, right? I
Mm.
think that one of the biggest gigs that I spoke in front of 1,300 people here in London, the promoter told me this. They told me, Harry, do you know why I choose you to speak at this event? Well, Les Brown spoke at that event. So actually, it was Les Brown event. I spoke before Les Brown. So it's not even that I was a speaker at that event. I was the guy to actually lift the audience up before Les Brown came in after me. And but I spoke with the promoter after that, and he told me something, and she told me something that I didn't even realize. And she told me, Harry, I hired you for do this speech before Les Brown because you were ready for it. You were prepared for it. I know that you're prepared for it. There are no promoter in this planet that is gonna put you in front of 2,000 people if they don't know that you can deliver this type of talk, because it's a lot on the stake. An event like that can cost, in terms of marketing and production, we're talking about more than 100,000, probably 250,000 goes in investment in this type of event so big with so many people. So the speakers need to be on point. The speakers have to be professional, and they need to know what they're doing. And the promoter won't take a chance to bring an amateur for the stage. So that's why you do have to be prepared. So when the opportunity comes to you, you can deliver it there and then and make a huge transformation for the audience.
Wow, I love what you said about when readiness meets the opportunity, right? This is the secret. We always have to be ready and say yes, like you did for our podcast interview. And now it's time. So thank you again very much. And now it's time
Pleasure.
for your last message to the audience.
Okay. Thank you very much, Caroline.
Okay, thank you and see you in the next episode.